let's just dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a highly focused, absolutely intense microanalysis of a single, incredibly powerful piece of text. We're literally looking at just 41 words here. But within those 41 words is this total deconstruction of human nature, loyalty, and ultimately the actual cost of true patriotism. It's so easy, right, to claim we support a cause when things are going great. But what happens when the situation turns dark? What happens when the cost of that support suddenly skyrockets? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today, piece by piece.
Now, before we even look at the text itself, I want you to just take a second and reflect on this question. What happens when the ultimate crisis arrives? Think about human nature for a minute. It's kind of this fundamental truth that our personal resolve is very rarely tested on a sunny, easy day, right? When conditions are comfortable, our beliefs cost us absolutely nothing. But when a crisis hits, when conditions turn from easy to incredibly, painfully difficult, well, that's the moment the facade drops. That's when we find out who people truly are. Keep that dynamic in the back of your mind, because it's the absolute engine driving the text we're about to explore. All right, so moving into section 1, the ultimate test, and when the crisis arrives. So, we're going to see how this text introduces a crisis, and not as some, abstract logistical problem happening way out there in the world, but as an intensely personal, deeply emotional test that happens inside every single one of us. Here is the complete 41-word text. Listen closely to this. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a heavy, deeply profound thought. And now that we have the full picture in front of us, we're going to start tearing it apart to see exactly how its internal logic works. Now, what's really fascinating about this first part is actually a single 3-letter word, try. These are the times that try men's souls. Notice how the text doesn't say these times bother us or inconvenience us or even frighten us. No, it says they try our souls. To try something, like in a legal sense, is to put it on trial. It means testing it under extreme pressure, essentially squeezing it until the absolute truth comes out. This crisis attacks the very core of our being. It absolutely demands to know what you're actually made of when everything is on the line. Which brings us to section 2, the Sunshine Patriot, and the illusion of easy support.
Because every trial demands a verdict, right? And this text identifies very specific types of people who flat out fail this profound test of the soul. Look at the brilliant metaphor used here, the sunshine patriot and the summer soldier. The author is literally using the weather to describe fair weather commitment. Summer and sunshine, they're easy, they're warm, they're bright, they require zero endurance from us. So a sunshine patriot is someone who happily cheers for their cause when everything is favorable, when victory looks guaranteed, and, crucially, when it costs them nothing but words. They love the idea of patriotism for sure, but they only love it when the climate is perfectly comfortable. But what happens to that sunshine patriot when the bitter winter of the crisis actually hits? Notice the specific word used here, shrink. They will shrink from the service of their country. It is such a visceral, physical word, isn't it? It paints this vivid picture of someone literally recoiling, making themselves smaller, just hiding away from the danger. The text masterfully contrasts this incredibly noble, grand concept, the service of their country, with the cowardly, entirely physical instinct to retreat. The illusion of their easy support completely shatters the second the cost becomes real. Okay, let's move into section 3, standing in the crisis and the true cost. So we're shifting our focus now from those who flee the danger over to the heavy, heavy burden carried by those who actively choose to remain. Consider the stark juxtaposition we're presented with here. On one hand, we've got the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot, the ones who shrink and retreat. But on the other, we have he that stands it now, the one who endures. Really think about the physical difference between shrinking and standing. Shrinking is just collapsing under the weight of the crisis. But standing is bearing that weight. Standing requires active, continuous, downright exhausting effort. It's the literal embodiment of paying the true cost of true patriotism when everyone else is running away. And this brilliantly illustrates the complete anatomy of the crisis as laid out in the text. Let's walk through this logical flow together. Number 1, the crisis arrives and tries men's souls. It acts as a massive pressure test. Number 2,
that intense pressure causes the fair weather supporters, our summer soldiers, to shrink and abandon the cause. And then number 3, it ultimately leaves only those willing to provide ultimate service to stand and face the fire. Basically, the crisis acts as a brutal, highly efficient filter, totally separating the false patriots from the true ones. Finally, we arrive at section 4, the cost and reward, and the burden of standing. So, if the cost of true patriotism is really so heavy, and the crisis is so severe that it chases away all those sunshine patriots, what's the actual outcome for those who stand their ground? Well, this is the resolution of our 41-word text. The one who stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. The text totally acknowledges that the cost of true patriotism is incredibly heavy. It's a burden that will literally try your soul. But it also makes a huge promise. Standing in the face of the ultimate crisis is the only path that earns this ultimate reward. And we're not just talking about a passing nod here, but the deep, profound gratitude and love of all of society. The reward is perfectly matched to the severity of the test. So as we wrap up this explainer, we've seen the full anatomy of the crisis. We've seen exactly how easy it is to be a summer soldier when the sun is shining. But the text forces us to turn the mirror on ourselves. Because, crises don't announce themselves, and they certainly don't ask for permission. So I want to leave you with this one thought to consider. When the times arrive that try your soul, when the cost of your beliefs suddenly becomes staggeringly high, will you stand or will you shrink?